Right.
Yes.
Did you know that Mr. Moss, the physics teacher, coaches an FLL team? FLL team, robotics team like yours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Next year, when my son does FLL again, I might talk to him about some others. Has he done it for a long time?
Yeah. He also was the original mentor of the robotics team here at the high school, the FRCC.
Okay.
I've got like A&B. It's like 3 rules.
All right, did you all get your partial fractions correct, right? So it's pretty simple for A and B this time. So now you rewrite your series, and here's the thing. When you are, I'm going to rewrite it up here. When you rewrite your series, isn't that lovely? It's going to look even better as the days go by. So we have 1 over 2n minus 1 minus 1 over 2n plus 1. You always start by listing off the first number of terms. And you want to list as many as you need to see when they will start canceling, because sometimes it's not right off the bat. So if we plug in a 1, we get 1 over 2 minus 1, which is 1, minus 1 over 2 plus 1, which is a third. So when you plug in a 1, you get 1 minus a third. Don't try to combine them, just write 1 minus a third, right? Then when you plug in a 2, you get 1/3 minus 1/5. And then you plug in a 3, you get a 5th minus a 7th. Even though they don't go in order like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's still right, the terms are like right, they're consecutive. The consecutive terms cancel. So this one's pretty nice. Thirds are gone, 5ths are gone, 7ths are gone, 9ths will be gone, and everything will be gone right up to the end. So this is a telescoping sequence, and because it's a telescoping sequence, the actual final sum will be this first term minus the limit as n approaches infinity of this guy. So you can write that down. What's the final sum going to be? It's just going to be 1. Yes?
Do we have to put that negative in there, or no?
Which negative?
Like
this one?
1 over 2n minus 1 minus 1 over 2n plus 1, or do we just do 1 over 2? Never mind.
This one?
Yes, that.
This minus sign here is really important. And you don't put
But
it
if it's
in, it
plus,
came
do
out
we put a
naturally
minus
with the letters A and B,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't change it to a negative. Whatever you get for A and B, if you get A and B as both positive, it's just not going to be a telescoping sequence, right? Because everything will get added.
Okay.
So, yeah, you have to make sure that you stay true to the math. And if the math turns it into a telescoping sequence, then you're good. Good. Were there other questions before we move on to a slightly harder one? Oh, we got time. Good. All right. Hey, this one's already factored for you. It's even easier. Well, the actual sequence will be a little harder. But the partial fractions are fine.
If you plug in 0, then you're going to
Oh, wow.
Does have to be assertive.
For the last question,
K equals 1 half.
plug in
And then
the
negative 1.
we got 2.
You go to minus 2, minus 2.
And then
Oh, no.
Negative 1 half.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
When you're writing your terms, you're just talking about the first term of the first part of this series. Like, see how there's kind of 2 separate functions? That one, and then the limit is this approaches.
okay.
Yeah, because what will happen is if you answer that, you get 1 minus negative 1/2, then the next term,
Yeah,
you get 1/3. And then 1/5 minus
Hey,
Your trip is.
Oh, it's by 1/4.
Oh,
Are you okay?
I just flipped the part. No, it would be right. It would be right. It would be right.
And that's gonna come to play even more in this week.
What happened?
Yeah, the range for my body is totally us. It's just one. The entire. How long?
Okay, once you split it up, see if you can figure out the sum. I would write out the first at least 4 or 5 terms, once you split it up.
Minus 5, 10. Whoa. This is so confusing.
How do you remember this story from last year?
You didn't write out the first at least 4 or 5 terms.
No.
Oh, we'll find out.
Hello.
That's why I said yes.
Yeah, I don't even. That's too much for me. Yeah. I'll pay something.
I'm not watching.
You need to look.
Ellie, no.
You tell me which one to It's just like
Bro, this is not one half. We keep going. Really? I think it's like 1/2 plus 1.
once you find it, right?
No, it does.
What you do is you put the limit to the.
Yes,
Bro, you
You have to check. That's only to check that you add these when we know it's the limit. We're good. So I'm not gonna worry about
wait, what's the point?
it. You have to check, you have to make the second part of it. The second one. Why did you do the second part?
it fits perfectly. Very good, I like it. Okay. All right, so, quiet down, let's talk about this a little bit. So first, let's just talk about A and B. So did you all get correct answers? I got A was 1/2 and B was -1/2. Okay? I personally like to go ahead, I never write 1/2 over n, I write 1 over 2n, right? It's so much easier to plug the numbers in if you write it like that than if you try to do 1/2 over your variable. Okay, so anyway, so we plug the numbers in and we write out our first couple terms. Here's the trick with this, right? So your first term is 1/2 minus 1/6. Your next term is 1/4 minus 1/8. Nothing canceled. The next term is 1/6 minus 1/10. So what happens is the first pair of canceling terms is the 1/6 right here. So this -1/6 doesn't get canceled until over here. And then if you think about it, the next pair, so now the 1/6 are gone. Then we go to the next term, okay, it's going to be 1/8 minus 1/12, so now the 1/8 are gone. The next term would be 1/10 minus 1/14, so the tenths will be gone, right? And so on and so on. There will be 2 numbers stranded and uncanceled. Yes. So the 2 numbers that do not get canceled are the 1/2 and the 1/4. Everything from 1/6 on is canceled. Does that make sense? So this is why it's so important to list out those first few terms, because sometimes the first canceled term doesn't start until a little bit out. So when you are finding your actual sum, you end up doing a half plus a fourth minus that limit. And it ends up just being 3/4. All right? Whoop, yes.
Okay, why is it only the second, why is it the limit of like the second term?
Because that's what you're subtracting. Everything that you're adding is summed up in the half plus a fourth because everything else gets canceled. But if everything gets canceled except for the very, very last term you would be subtracting, which is that infinite, the last term is n approaches infinity. Oh, the hands are up. Siddharth.
How would we know when to check that?
I would always check it with a telescoping. Whenever I have a telescoping sequence, my first reaction is, once I've got it written in telescoping form, is to write out the first number of terms and just kind of verify that it works. Yes?
On the blue sheet, it says you have to take the limit of the first, not the second.
All right, I will make the correction. Because something it's got to be a typo. All right. Okay. Okay, yes, go to lunch. Let me turn this off.